So still doing tri.
Yes.
Still loving it?
More and more, but the problem is I've become more competitive, and I don't mean in terms of my results. I mean I want to do better, and I care about my result more.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a pain. So a little bit of the fun's gone out of it. It's become serious. So no, I'm loving it, and you know, this year it's been a bit tricky because I've been very focused on F1, so I've not been able to train for as much as I'd like. But yeah, I mean, living where I do, I'm very lucky. I get to train with people all the time, mostly on the bike, but in Monaco, yeah, which is great. A lot of people swim there as well. They've got 3 50-meter pools in Monaco, in such a small principality, and it's a great coast to run down. So yeah, but I'm obviously a very competitive person, so triathlon has been a big part of my life. It's been a good hobby, and I've got lots of friends that are into triathlon as well, school friends. So it's also made me work on other things that maybe I wouldn't have in terms of core strength, and been doing more yoga as well. My missus is into yoga. I never have been, but I'm getting a little bit more into it now. Never, never. It just hurts, and it's not a pain that makes you go faster at that moment in time. So no, it's tricky for me.
But you're sticking with it.
Yeah, driving a racing car for me for so many years. You're obviously in this position a lot, so you know I have quite rounded shoulders, and especially running, it's taught me to sort of bring my shoulders back, and helps my posture for not just for sport but later in life as well. So I think that's going to make a big difference to me. I've raced all around the world. I've been very lucky to obviously race in the UK, but and in Europe, but also to race in America, Oceanside. I've raced in Japan. I've raced in Australia, and Hawaii. So loads of great places around the world, and it seems to be going everywhere. But I would say especially in the UK, which is great. I'm sure a lot of it is down to 2 brothers, but and also probably Chrissy as well. So it's good to see it grow. I still think there's a lot more growth needed, and there should be a lot more growth, because it is a sport that's very family orientated. And I think people like it because of the 3 different disciplines. You talk to people that have never been into sport before, and they get excited about the times and the transition times, and it's really cool to hear complete amateurs getting into something and getting focused on something out of their daily routine. So it is a great sport, but I still think that the pros need to be regarded as more heroes than they are, and you shouldn't have pro triathletes just scraping by. I mean, obviously some are doing very well and they're earning good money, but there are also others that are doing well and still struggling to survive on the winnings that they have. So if you're going to build up these individuals, the pros, I think it helps the sport massively, because people have heroes, they have someone to look up to, especially the kids that get into the sport. And then they get involved. So in terms of the triathlon companies around the world, it is going to help them in the long term. It's just you can't be too short-sighted with any sport, I don't think. But yeah, I've got so much respect for the people that I've trained with and spent time with, their dedication and how much effort they put in, because this is their life.
What else did you discover that day when you trained with the Brownlees?
I think they're obviously very lucky with their natural physique, but I think a lot of it is their mental strength, and I think that's the same for a lot of sportsmen, top sportsmen. It's the mental strength that really makes a difference. They obviously have a fantastic training regime in the people that they work with in terms of the training programs and what have you. But you know, I think they're just mentally so tough, and I think that makes a big difference for those 2, and they have each other. So all the fell running they've done as kids as well, I think has helped them a lot.
What's the difference then between how you feel when you finish a Formula 1 race to how you feel finishing a triathlon?
A triathlon is more physical. You know, when you're pushing yourself hard, it's always going to be more difficult in terms of physically than an F1 car. F1 car is a lot more mental, and because you're concentrating at such high speeds, that you just get mentally drained, and that physically drains you as well. So it's very different. And when you step out of a Formula 1 car, because you've been in a certain position for so long, it's quite weird. You feel a bit dizzy when you get out. And I think probably 10 years ago, it was on a par with triathlon in terms of how you felt when you got out of the car.
Yeah.
Now it's much easier to drive in terms of physically,
Yeah.
because there's just less grip, less downforce,
Yeah.
and the way the cars are, which is a shame.
Mm.
We used to have drivers fainting on the podium
Wow.
sort of every 3 races, so
Okay.
it was physically very tough.
Yeah.
And now it's less so, which is a shame. I think
Yeah.
we all like it when the driver is the limiting factor. You know, because it's not just the driver that needs to be fit. The mechanics are out there trying to do pit stops in 2 seconds, and I still can't believe how they're able to do that.
We
But
tried
yeah, the gun is so heavy. I mean, the wheel's super light, but it's hot
Yeah.
when it arrives. But then the gun just weighs a ton. So they're amazing,
That's
and
awesome.
the power you need as well. You know, when
Yeah.
it kicks in to hold it still. So they do quite a bit of training, and
Okay.
I've spent some time at the GSK facility just out of town, human performance facility, which is amazing for me. I'm very lucky because it helps with my F1 and it helps with my triathlon as well, doing all the
course.
tests. But the mechanics also go there and do all the tests that I do,
Oh, cool.
which is good because it not only keeps them fit, but they can choose, for example, which guys should be doing what in a pit stop.
Oh, based on the results.
The results, and they do different tests, reaction tests and what have you. So if we had a guy that was on the front right wheel, they might realise he's better on the back right wheel because of the position he is and the position the wheel comes off and how he reacts to the car coming in. So it's pretty high tech actually, because pit stops is so important for us. It's not easy to overtake in Formula One. I personally wake up every race morning and I'll do something, because otherwise, you know, the race isn't until 2, and sometimes it's a late race, it's 6 or 8. So I arrive at the circuit if I've not been training, and I feel so tired if I haven't been training.
Yeah.
So I always get up and either run or swim before breakfast. Whether it's a 6K run with efforts, I'll never just run at a constant pace. I'll always do efforts or something, and swimming the same. So I'll always do that before breakfast, before I get to the circuit. And we have the engineering meeting, and then I'm already drinking the drink that we have, which is specially made by GSK, because they know exactly what I need from my training results and what have you. So to hydrate before the race, then we do autograph signing, we do all the bits on the grid and the bits for Formula One, and then it's about focusing, which is massage, and then reaction work, and getting out into the car. So I mean, after a race, for the next 2 days, I'm in bits, and I struggle to train. And if I get on the bike, I'm useless. So the only thing I can really do is swim. But so yeah, it's pretty difficult. And especially training for a marathon, you'd think it'd be easy because you're running, you can run anywhere. But I can't really get long runs in when I'm racing in Formula One, because I obviously don't want it to get in the way with my job, and the most important thing, which is Formula One.
Would your training change in any way leading up to a triathlon, or would you do anything differently? What would you add in?
Yeah, for me, I spend a lot of time on the bike. Obviously, the last couple of months hasn't been the case, but for me, most of my training is on the bike in the south of France, and the long stuff, base training, what have you. Swimming, yeah, you obviously lose it very quickly. But it's an area I don't need to work too hard in terms. I'm very lucky in terms of I can pick it up after a couple of days of not training. So my technique's not too bad. And running, I don't think I was built for running, but I'm trying my best. I think for me the thing that I need to work on is core and glutes. And that's what lets me down in a run. I start running, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in bits. So I wasn't blessed with a bum. That's something I need to work on.
Build up your bottom.
Yeah, I built up my bottom. I wasn't blessed with a bum. So I need to work on it. So sitting down even hurts. I mean, I don't have any bum fat
padding.
or muscle. So that's no padding at all. So that's a weakness. I definitely need something. So yeah. I'm massively into nutrition. It sounds really sad, but I just over the years, just understanding what to eat, and I actually got help by a guy in Monaco, a guy from BFit, and they train certain people in Monaco, and he's into his nutrition a lot. And basically, I was just eating carbs the whole time because I thought that's what you're supposed to do when you
Yeah.
train. So pasta, and I think every racing driver was eating pasta for breakfast, lunch and dinner. So I cut out a lot of carbs. I was 12% body fat and I went down to 6
Wow.
in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was still eating a lot, and I eat so much.
Yeah.
I mean, every lunch and dinner I have a starter and a main course. And I might even have dessert. So I eat a lot. I'm very lucky,
Yeah.
but I just eat the right things. So I eat very high in terms of the amount of protein. I eat a lot of vegetables. And previous years I've not had carbs at all
Yeah.
when I'm training, which isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
But I've had to do it for my weight, to keep my weight down for Formula
Okay,
One.
yeah.
So now I eat carbs after training, but good carbs like sweet potato and brown rice. But yeah, I'm really into my food, and I mostly have food that's steamed or raw in terms of fish and vegetables. Having a Japanese wife sort of helps in terms of raw fish, sushi, and other things as well. Just like with having the right thing in the morning, you know, I have half a litre of water before I do anything in the morning, and I have a black coffee with coconut oil before I eat anything as well. And it's just, I have everything planned out, which is a bit of a pain because I'm a bit of a nutter when it comes to things like that. Because if I don't have my half a litre of water in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me today? But yeah, so I plan everything out. But I enjoy it. It's a big part of it. And it's a big part of Formula One for me. Because if I eat the right stuff, I feel so much more energetic and on the top of my game.
Talking post Formula One, whenever that might
Yes.
be, is Kona on the cards?
Definitely. For me, I'm going to be an amateur. I'm not going to be a pro after F1. And yeah, I would love to race in the World Champs. You got to have high goals, you got to have high targets. So the target would be to become world champion. Probably never going to happen, but I think you've got to have these targets. And I'm in a very privileged position that I you know, after Formula One, I don't have to work if I don't want to. So really, I should be a pro. But yeah, with what I've learned over the years of what my body can do and where I can take it, I think it could be really exciting. So.
But you would want to go long distance rather than like the Olympic distance.
Yeah, I'm too old.
Yeah, you wouldn't tempt your
I'm
age
too
group
old.
at the World Champs?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that for me, long distance is more interesting, and I think it's because it's, in a way, more like Formula One in terms of it's not just a physical sport; it's mental as well, and it's how you prepare and how you run the race is very different. You know, you can't come out of an Olympic distance and go and do an Ironman, a full distance, and win. Even if you're dominating an Olympic, you can go and do it on a half. But never on an Ironman because there's so much more involved in terms of nutrition and what have you, and how much doing. Yes. So that's what I love about it, and it's more of just as much of a thinking sport and a mental sport as it is a physical. So.
Sure, Is the only reason you haven't done a long distance?
Just training. I can't train for it.
Yeah. The team maybe.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be either. You know, I gotta remember that my main aim in life has always been to racing cars and to race in Formula One and to do the best I can there. And if I ever thought that my training was getting in the way, I would obviously stop because that's my main aim in life at the moment. And then afterwards, I've got lots of time to go and enjoy my hobby.